The National Task Force Against COVID-19 and the Commission on Higher Education jointly inspected a university in Valenzuela to examine the feasibility of limited face-to-face classes. This follows recommendations from some lawmakers and stakeholders to allow the education sector to gradually transition into the new normal. Luis Erispe reports.
Inside the school premises, health protocols are strictly implemented. Everyone who is bound to come and stay inside should have their body temperatures checked, pass through foot baths, and get manually sprayed on or sanitized with rubbing or ethyl alcohol. A cap on the number of students going in and out of the classrooms and laboratories will be strictly enforced.
Before the pandemic, 40 students are allowed to go inside this classroom during classes. But because of the limited face-to-face classes guidelines, only 18 students are allowed to go inside this classroom. And this is to assure that the 1.5-meter distance between each student is strictly implemented during classes.
After classes, the students are advised to immediately leave campus to limit the people inside the schools. These are just a few of the primary guidelines the Commission on Higher Education and National Task Force Against COVID-19 intends to implement, and colleges, once in person or face-to-face classroom sessions possibly kick off on January 2021.
We will look at all the models, we will learn from each other, and we will apply the models to other universities.
As of now, the proposed guidelines are still up for approval by the IATF and President Rodrigo Duterte, but the NTF and CHED targets to finalize it by the end of the year. Meanwhile, the NTF believes that compared to DepEd, CHED is more able and committed in implementing the face-to-face classes.
Yung self-control ng isang estudyante, mas makokontrol mo siya. Unlike sa DepEd, pinag-uusapan nga namin kasi pagka nag-open sa DepEd, lahat yan. Hindi katulad dito sa CHED na interdisciplinary.
But CHED clarified that the limit in-person face-to-face classes in January is not a requirement but rather an option for universities and colleges.
Yung limited face-to-face, it is not a requirement. It is an option. So when we issue guidelines for limited face-to-face, it is not CHED telling all the schools, you go to face-to-face. It is an option given to universities who would like to do limited face-to-face under certain restrictions and guidelines.
And if classes will definitely start next year, a few courses will receive priority.
This does not mean that everyone will go back to school. It is limited face-to-face. In low-risk MGCQ, only for certain school activities. Yung limited face-to-face, hindi ibig sabihin that there will be a mass exodus of students going back. We will allow for certain types of programs to go back with the primary consideration of the health of the students, the faculty, the employees, etc.
Luis Erispe for The Nation.